Howdy folks, Bluesboyjag here with a Partagas cigar box guitar, 3-string, acoustic electric. Those are the sound holes. A lot of people think, well, those are kind of small. Well, you don't really need big sound holes for a box this size. Keep in mind, a regular electric guitar or acoustic guitar is probably 3 times bigger than this box. So you need a bigger sound hole for those, but for the smaller boxes, you don't. This one's got the gold corners on it, make it look fancy. 3-stringer, single coil pickup. Those screws are the pull pieces and they hold the pickup in the box, so they're hidden, and that keeps the artwork intact on the front of the box. Sell a ton of this box. This is a very popular box, really cool looking with the gold and the matching gold corners and the matching gold sound hole. Red oak neck, as I've been doing for 12 years. These frets can be found on a Fender, Gibson, or Gretsch. They are professional frets. The real deal, folks, as they say. Fret markers on top, fret markers on the front. As usual, signed and numbered on the back. There's the number right there. And I use the old school bolt for a nut and a bolt for a bridge. This is a slanted bridge, which means it's compensated, which means it's slanted for a reason. That way all your strings are in tune all the way up the neck. Now I put on the extra light gauge strings. I buy them in bulk, so that would be tuned to A. Those are .09s, regular electric set. You can use any brand you want. The .09s work great for the A tuning. .10s work great for the G tuning. So .10 being the first string of a regular 6-string set, or .09 being the first string of a regular 6-string set. Personally, I prefer the Elixir strings. They last a long time. I play about 2 hours a day on my electric guitars, and when I'm rehearsing for solo gigs or for my band or just learning songs. And they last a good 2-3 weeks at that rate, which is amazing. Back in the old days, you know, you play a 1-hour gig, you got to change your strings. So I can get 15-20 hours out of one set. Plus they're slippery. I love the slippery stuff. Makes it easier to play. Some people don't like them, so you can buy the other coated strings that are not slippery. But I prefer Elixirs myself. Now, that's me. That's me. Doesn't have to be you. You can use any brand of strings. You can use any style of strings, any gauge of strings, depending on how you tune it. If you're going to be tuning it to D or E, you probably want to use 10s or 11s because you want to have slightly heavier strings for that tuning. If you're going to be tuning it to G, like I said, I use .09s. Again, these are all referencing the gauge of the first string of a 6-string electric guitar set. And if you want to tune to A, I use .10s. .10s might be stretching it just a little bit, might be just a little bit too heavy. But hey, your mileage may vary. Steve Ray Vaughan used super heavy strings. He got away with it. So hey, just experiment. Be aware that the higher or the heavier gauge strings that you use and the higher up you tune it, the more tension you're going to put on the neck, so you are going to pull the neck up just a little bit. I mean, it is a cigar box with a neck stuck on it. So I have a little bracket down here which keeps that to a minimum. So you can raise and lower the strings by turning that screw just a tiny little bit. And when it does, it pulls the neck down maybe a quarter of an inch, just a little bit. It doesn't take much at all, folks. It doesn't take much at all for those strings to either be real low or real high. So if you want them a little bit high, turn that just a little bit. You want them a little bit low, turn it just a little bit the opposite direction. So it pulls your neck down, which in turn makes the strings go up. And if you loosen it to make the neck go up just a little bit, then those strings get closer to the fretboard. So if you play slide, in other words, you want your strings a little bit higher, especially if you're going to use a capo. Most people do, so they change keys. So you're in, let's say, open A. No fingers is A or G. You want to go up to, let's say you're tuned to G, you want to go up to A, you would capo on that 2nd fret. When you use a capo, you need your strings a little bit higher than you would without a capo. But that's traditional. That's not just because you're playing a cigar box guitar. That's the way it's always been on any guitar that's tuned open, acoustic, electric, going back, you know, back to the dark ages. So capos, you need the strings a little bit higher. And that's what that adjustment there is. All right, so enough yakking. Here's what I've got as far as the tone on this one. I've got this one tuned to A. style playing. Now I've got a metal slide here, so I'm going to give you a little idea what that sounds like. So, as I said earlier, this is a single coil pickup, and it does have a little bit of a hum, as all single coils do. Stratocasters, as an example, Telecasters. This has minimal hum, though. I'm very, very pleased with how these have worked out with me so far. I've been selling these with the single coils for many, many, many years, and they have a thinner tone, and a lot of people like that thinner tone. You can beef it up with your amp. You can beef it up if you want a little bit with your pedals. Therefore, they like that that kind of a thin tone, so they can pull it up with those pedals, so they have more control. Other people like the heavier tone, and that would be the humbucker, and the humbuckers are quiet, so I do make them with the humbuckers as well. Those are $20 more for the humbucker, because that's due to my cost. So this one right here is a single coil. It's 3 strings, and you'll see 4 pole pieces. And a lot of people are like, 4 pole pieces? Well, it's only 3 strings. I have 4 pole pieces. Well, I do that so to make sure you get maximum coverage of those strings. So those strings need to be pretty close. They don't have to be right on top of those pole pieces, but they have to be pretty close. So I put 4 in there just in case. There you go, folks. Partagas 3-string cigar box guitar by Bluesboy Jag. Once again, thank you for your support.